So intro to Ayurveda, eating for your dosha. Eating for your dosha. All right. We're going to learn about our doshas and how to eat for them. All right. So Ayurveda is all about balancing, right? It's all about being healthy and in balance. And in balance sounds like imbalance, but you're supposed to be in balance. Okay, that's the idea. That's health. And when you're not in balance, that's when all sorts of things happen, like disease, like cancer. Oh my goodness. So we want to be all three doshas, not one extreme. Okay, so now we want to find out where you are. What dosha are you right now? So some imbalances of the kapha, vata, pitta. Kapha would be procrastination, depression, tiredness, weight gain, foggy mind, bloating, feeling unsupported, and congested. Okay. After my infusion, I'm very kapha. Okay. After infusions, I'm very kapha. It takes me a while to get back to pitta, vata. Okay. Vata, insomnia, anxiety, constipation, sore throat, dehydration, dizziness, sensitivity to cold, and anxiety. This is all the imbalance. This is all the imbalance. This is the extremes. Pitta, irritability, acne or rashes, hot flashes, confusion, nausea, recklessness, impatience and frustration, and nightmares. So just see imbalances. See these kind of imbalances, okay? These are dosha imbalances. All right, now we're going to do the dosha quiz, all right? So you're going to write down on your little sheet that you have, or if you're listening to this and you don't have a sheet, you got to keep some track of it, okay? So maybe on your phone, but there's no way you're going to remember all these letters. All right, unless you have some sort of photographic memory, right? Okay, here we go. All right. And I'm going to take this, I guess I'm going to take this off because it's more fun to like look, not stare at this screen right now. So I'm going to stop sharing this, okay? But I'm just going to go for it, okay? Here we go. Frame. What's your frame? A, I am thin and slender with prominent joints and lean muscles. B, I have a medium symmetrical build with good muscle development. Or C, I have a large or stocky build. All right, which frame are you? All right, skin. A, B, or C, okay? A, B, or C. A, my skin is dry and rough. B, my skin is warm, reddish in color, and easily irritated. C, my skin is moist and oily. My skin is moist and oily. Hair. A, my hair is dry, brittle. I think I will. You know what? Well, some of you might not want to listen to me the whole time. So I'm going to just also share the screen. I'm going to go back to sharing. We make changes. Okay. Because you might be like, what the hell did she just say? Okay. Hair. My hair is dry, A, brittle or frizzy. B, my hair is fine, thin, or premature gray. C, my hair is thick and wavy. Okay. Eyes. My eyes are small and active. B, I have a penetrating gaze. Not glaze. C, I have large, pleasant eyes. All right. Joints. A, my joints are thin and prominent and have a tendency to crack. B, my joints are loose and flexible. C, my joints are large, well knit and firm. Body temperature. My hands and feet are usually cold and I prefer warm environments. B, I am usually warm regardless of the season and I prefer cooler environments. C, I am adaptable to most temperatures but do not like cold, wet days. Okay, here we go. Stress. A, under stress, I become anxious or worried. B, under stress, I become irritable and intense and aggressive. That's my husband. Number C, under stress, I become withdrawn or depressed. Okay. Sleep. I am a light sleeper with a tendency to awaken easily. B, I'm a moderate sound sleeper, usually needing less than 8 hours to feel rested, but I have vivid dreams. C, my sleep is deep and long, and I tend to awake slowly in the morning. Weather. A, my least favorite is cold weather. B, my least favorite is hot weather. C, my least favorite is damp weather. Weight. I tend to lose weight easily. B, I maintain my weight easily. C, I gain weight easily. Appetite. On a daily basis. A, my appetite varies and I have a delicate digestion. B, I feel uncomfortable if I skip a meal and I can eat almost anything. C, I like to eat but can skip meals easily and I have slow digestion. Bowel movements. A, my bowel movement tends to be there's this like saying that says that Ayurvedic doctor won't ask you how you're doing, but they will ask you how your bowel movements are. Okay. It's true. You are as healthy as your bowel movements. My bowel movements tend to be hard with occasional constipation. B, my bowel movements tend to be loose with occasional diarrhea. C, my bowel movements tend to be well-formed or sticky with occasional constipation. Fun, fun, fun. Personality. A, I am lively and enthusiastic by nature. I like change. B, I am purposeful and intense. I like being efficient and in control. C, I am easygoing and caring. I like to support others. Okay, activity. I like to be active and it can be hard to sit still. B, I enjoy activity that has a purpose, especially competitive. C, I like leisurely activities and staying at home. Walk. I walk quickly. I have determined walk. B. C, I walk slow and steady at a leisurely pace. Moods. A, my moods change quickly with a tendency towards anxiety. B, my moods change slowly, but I can become angry easily. C, my moods are mostly steady and most things don't bother me. Memory. A, I learn quickly and forget quickly. B, I have good memory. C, I learn slowly, but I have good long-term memory. Okay. All right.
I'm in. Hello.
Yeah. Okay, great. Organization. A, I am good at getting things started, but not at getting things done. B, I am organized and can focus on a project from start to finish. C, I need help getting things started, but I am good at seeing things. Money. I spend money almost as quickly as I make it. B, it is important for me to have money and I spend it on expensive and luxury items. C, I don't like to spend money and prefer saving it for a rainy day. In relationships, I usually ask A, what's wrong with me? B, what is wrong with you? C, are you sure there's something wrong? I like these questions. Out of balance, I feel like A, a leaf in the wind. B, a raging inferno. C, a bump on a log. My motto in life is A, throw caution to the wind and live for today. B, no pain, no gain. C, don't worry, be happy. Like that Bobby McFerrin song. Don't worry, be happy. Sorry about this. Woo! All right. All right. I think I have to bring it back a little bit. Oh, how did I do that? Oh, okay. Count how many times you choose A, B, and C and put the numbers in the chat. Or just, don't put the numbers in chat. Just tell us what you are. And if you have mostly A's, you are primary Vata. Okay, Vata, Vata, Vata. If you have mostly B's, you are primary Pitta. If you're mostly C's, you're primary Kapha. And you can be a mix of the two types. So don't be like, oh my God, I'm not just one. You could be a mix, right? Or if you're split all three ways, that means you're a tri-dosha. So I'm going to give you some time to just work on that. And then I want you to put what you are in the chat. Just say like, hey, I'm this, I'm a blend of this. And that way we can all know what we are. Okay, so and then I'll also know when you're done calculating. But if there's any questions, hey Helene,
Hi.
welcome from India.
Straight from the puja.
Great. So I just went through the doshas and then we did a dosha quiz.
Okay.
And then we're gonna talk about the foods for the doshas.
Cool.
But please put in the chat. I want to know what you are. Okay. Da, 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 da. Can you send us that quiz? I couldn't take the quiz. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I'm going to send you this recording. So you'll have this recording you'll have this, Christy, you'll have this in the group, in the class. Just go to the chats and you'll have it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'll send you guys also I'll make sure to send the quiz as well. It's a really good quiz. I've looked at a lot of different quizzes and this one was great. This one was really fantastic. So okay, yeah.
May has mostly A. Is that the Vata?
It's totally tridosha. You're totally tridosha.
Yeah, you have quite an even.
Yeah.
I had mostly C. C is Kapha, right, Vera?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because A is Vata.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then Pitta. Okay, so we've got a Kapha, we've got a Tridosha.
Yeah. Rebecca, me too, babe.
Vata.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marilyn Vata.
You got the A, big time. Oh, but
Marilyn, I knew you would be Vata.
No, but she's got 6 kapha.
Yeah.
Kapha, Veronica. Kapha. A is Vata, B is Pitta, and C is Kapha.
So Kapha is her runner-up, yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's good to be a tridosha. Tridosha is where you want to be. You don't want too much of one, right? So Marilyn, we're gonna try to get you to be a little bit on the Pitta, a little bit more on the Kapha, And May, you're nice and even on all of them, so that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Veronica, you had mostly C's than A's, right? So bringing that B in would be great too. So that's what we're learning. Yeah. And that's what Ayurveda is all about, right? It's all about the balance.
Yeah, so we are all born with one dosha, primary dosha. That's your prakriti. And that's the dosha that you have to kind of always watch out for. That's the one that will tend to go off balance the easiest. So whichever number is your highest one, that's the one most likely you've had to work with for your whole life. Like that's the one you have to really, really keep an eye out for. But yeah, we want to keep them all balanced, but really pay attention to the one where you have the predominant, the number that you got the highest. That means that's the one you're going to have to really look out for.
Great. All right. Now we're going to talk about the foods. We're going to talk about the foods. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open this and then show you that which I put together for you guys. So let's talk about the foods. All right. So now we're starting with kapha. All right. So kapha types are loyal, grounded, tolerant, and forgiving. They are also physically and emotionally strong and possess good stamina when they are balanced. However, when imbalanced, which does happen, kapha dominance may present as needy, greedy, and insecure. The ideal Ayurvedic diet for kapha usually consists of warm, light or dry foods and lightly cooked meals. Preferred cooking methods include baking, grilling, roasting, stir fry, steaming, and boiling. They should always avoid fried and fatty foods. So this is kind of a visual of what would be great to have. And this is very similar to all the other dishes, which, I don't know the nuances. It's hard to be clear about the nuances, but I think, yeah, I mean, like beans, legumes, a vegetarian diet preferred, avoid red meat, lean fish. There's no talk of dairy right here. It's mostly veggies and fruit, and avoiding the heavy oils and fried foods because kaphas tend to put on weight very easily. Okay.
Yes.
So again, you're going to have a copy of this in the group, and you can see more about this. You can also just Google like kapha dosha, diet. It's pretty easy to
Yeah.
find. Yeah. So diet recommendations: limited consumption of chicken, lean fish, and turkey is tolerated. Okay. Limited consumption of meat. Sorry, that might have not been in there. Limited consumption of red meat, chicken, lean fish, and turkey is tolerated. I don't know what lean fish means, but lean
I
on that
guess,
fish.
yeah. Like
Okay.
salmon is not in that category. Like salmon's more of a fatty fish, for
Oh,
example.
right. Okay, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the not fun fish. Okay.
Yeah.
Kapha dosha type should avoid red meat. Yeah, we said that. And yeah, they are advised to monitor their intake of sweet and fatty foods. I mean, you shouldn't really
Yeah.
be eating that if you have cancer anyway, okay? Period. I don't care what dosha you are. Sweet and
Yeah.
fatty foods shouldn't be part of your meal plan. Those with this dosha might also find it difficult to digest cold dairy products like ice cream and frozen yogurt. Again, not recommended. It is likely to be best to avoid dairy, right, and cold foods and drinks in general. However, herbs and spices are kapha's best friend. Cumin, sesame, garlic, and ginger are particularly beneficial and can help improve digestion. All right, so that is for kapha.
Yeah.
And
For kapha, you want a little bit more stimulating foods because kapha is quite slow, can be slow and heavy. So you want kind of more of those, like that's why garlic, ginger, those things do really well for kapha.
yeah, totally. So this is the Vata dosha, and I know we had a lot of Vata
Just
doshas.
the opposite.
Yeah, so a
It's
little bit
total
of
opposite.
red meat is actually, I guess,
Yeah.
encouraged. Um, and then
And
they,
one more thing, I just want to say
yeah,
something about kapha.
yeah,
Kapha dosha does the best with fasting. They can
mm,
really go really long with fasting, and it's really, really good for them.
mm,
As they have such a slower metabolism and digestion. So for them to fast, it's really beneficial. I mean, it's beneficial for everybody, but if you're a kapha, I would highly recommend incorporating more fasting into your lifestyle.
yeah, and that's the best way to also lose weight.
Exactly.
When you
So
fast,
it's
you start eating your body starts eating the fat
yeah.
essentially. Like when you start fasting, your body just starts gobbling up the fat. And people think, oh, I'm going to be so hungry. Your body knows what to do, and your body is not going to let you starve and die in a cave or
Yeah.
something. That wasn't the way that we evolved. I mean, humans wouldn't eat for days or months or weeks, and they didn't just die. I mean, they just actually regenerated their cells and they regenerated their energy, and they were even more awake and more productive after a fast, because that is biology. That is how we survived, or else humans would be an evolutionary zero.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So now we're going to go to kapha. I mean, sorry, to vata. Let's go to vata. Let us see what diet is on window number 4. Okay. So here we go. Yeah, so again, very similar in the vegetables department, but it really changes when you get to the meats and the pulses. And so
Hmm.
tofu, chickpeas, it's not just beans, which is what's recommended for kaphas, and red meat in moderation, and And let's learn a little bit about that. Vadas are charming and quick learners. Not only that, but they're highly adaptive and creative to their very core. Vatas enjoy warm weather and live fast-paced lifestyle, which can sometimes leave them fatigued if their stamina is limited. When there is disharmony, Vata dominance may present as nervous, anxious, and afraid. Ayurveda says that the energy of Vata dominant people is cold and dry. With this in mind, Ayurvedic medicine suggests eating warm and nourishing food with heavy textures to keep them balanced. A good Ayurvedic diet for Vata types is one that favors cooked vegetables and meals over raw options like salads. Likewise, they should always stay away from cold beverages and stick to warm drinks like tea. Dominance people are intelligent, insightful, and developed mental acuity. They are considered natural born leaders, but many are also quick tempered. When Pitta types experience disharmony, they may become irritable, reckless, jealous, and impatient. According to Ayurvedic medicine, either cool or warm food with moderate heavy textures are best for the dosha type. While Pittas prefer bitter tasting food and beverages, they should avoid things that are sour, pungent, or salty. For example, sweet and bitter fruits like plums and mangoes are encouraged, but sour ones are not. So here we go. Vegetarian diet is recommended. Venison, rabbit, tofu, mung beans. Yeah. And sprouts, asparagus, green beans. So Pitta dosha types. And again, you can just Google like what is best for your dosha.
And a
And
good way to kind of
yeah.
like understand this is if you connect the doshas with the different elements that they represent. So kapha is earth and water, vata is air and space, pitta is fire and water. So pitta, for example, now that we're on pitta, being fire. So what are the qualities of fire? Right? It's hot. It's that, I mean, that's the first thing, right, that comes to mind. So you want to avoid spicy foods, right? But for example, with kapha, who I was saying needs more stimulation, spice is great because earth, what is the quality of earth? It can be dense, heavy. So that's why you don't want to eat dense and heavy foods. And then vata being air and space, that's why typically heavier foods are, warm, nourishing foods are recommended for vata because vata is already very light and airy.
Mm.
So just to kind of help give you an understanding of how to like understand why the diet is for each dosha.
Right.
It's really connected to the element that represents each dosha. Yeah.
Right. So Pitta friendly, one that is low in added fat, salt, oil, and butter. So that's very different than Vata, right? Other Ayurvedic restrictions extend to alcohol, fried or fatty foods, and spicy foods, as Helene said. And they can different herbs like green coriander, cinnamon, mint, saffron, and turmeric to help
Yeah.
enhance
Cooling.
the flavor of their meals. And so that is that tonight. And if anybody has any questions for Helene, I might need to head out and go help my kids right now. But if anybody has any questions right now for Helene, go for it. Okay, no questions.
I know it's like it can be a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but with Ayurveda, I just want to say with like the nutrition, whether or not you follow this diet, it's really like just to follow the principle of it, which is having your 3 balanced meals a day, no snacking in between meals, trying to eat generally at the same time each day. This is how you kind of keep your body and the doshas balanced. So that's kind of like the general rule of thumb. And the diet, like again, so with pitta being hot, you want more cooling foods. So that's why red meat is not recommended for pitta, because red meat is more of a heating food. So are eggs, for example. Doesn't mean you can never have eggs. You just have less of it. And then kapha and vata both being more of a cold dosha, you want more warming foods. So it's, yeah, there's some nuance there, but that's the general rule of thumb. So really remembering the elements of each dosha: kapha, earth and water; vata, air and space; and pitta, fire and water. And then we'll get into, like, this also goes into your personalities as well. But the whole thing with the nutrition is it's balancing not only like your body, but it's balancing your entire being. So like if you are a vata person, for example, and you are, super wired all the time, and you can't, you have trouble sleeping and blah, blah, blah. So if you're eating a bunch of raw foods, that could aggravate that. So that's where it comes in to eat some more, add some grounding, nourishing foods. And I actually don't have oats either for breakfast. I do buckwheat porridge because it's less in carbs. So you want to, you can make little adjustments as what's, going to be more suitable for you. It is, I know, different with cancer. But I find it makes a lot of sense when you can just kind of understand why they're saying to eat this way. It's not just for the body, it's also for the mind. So kapha tends to, for example, have, again, what are the qualities of earth? Slow, stable, dense, heavy. So they sometimes need a little bit more pep in their step, right? So eating lighter foods will help them to be lighter and also lighter in their mind. And pitta can be overly aggravated. Fire is hot. So what's the qualities of that? Agitation, anger. I'm a pitta. So when I'm out of balance, I'm like, ah, So if I'm a pitta and I'm in a super hot climate and I'm eating a bunch of spicy foods, I'm just gonna be like, So I need more cooling foods. Actually, pittas do the best, they say, with raw foods because they have the strongest agni. They have the strongest digestion, so they can digest it really quickly. So when you think of it that way, it's not only for the body, but also for the mind. It's for the whole body, mind, spirit system. That's what we're trying to balance with the diet here for the doshas. So very general right now. Yeah, if you want to go more into this, you can also, if you have any questions at any point, you guys can write me, just send me a message. And, I'm happy also to send some other resources. Because it's something you'll have to kind of like study a little bit on your own. But I think if you can just start to a little bit, you don't have to follow the diet verbatim, like exactly as it says, but just take certain pieces of it, right? So if you know that you have a lot of vata and you want to, but you're going to be eating raw foods, just put a little bit more oil on your salad to kind of give it so that it's less dry, because the quality of vata also is dry, and vatas tend to be constipated. So we have to look at all of these things. Like if you're constipated, well, that's not good. Also, like you need to be able to, release your bowels. So you have to look at kind of all of these things. And kapha or pitta tends to have, can be more on the diarrhea side. So they need more that's why grains are more recommended for pitta, because it will help with that. So does that kind of make sense? If anyone has any questions, don't be shy. Yeah, what else can I say about that? So yeah, taking like I said, so really looking at the herbs for each dosha and incorporating more of that, whether you're going raw or cooked or whatever, maybe just trying to add more of the herbs that are recommended for each dosha. Like for pitta, having more of those cooling herbs like coriander and cardamom. For kapha, having more of the stimulating like garlic and onion. That's really good for kapha. For vata, I'm not exactly sure, but off the top of my head, but trying to incorporate little pieces from each into your diet, I think would be really helpful. So, and
Thank
then
you.
like we are in a different, this is a very old system, like for example, if you read the Ayurvedic scriptures and texts, like wheat and milk are superfoods, which obviously does not apply to us in the US or, I mean, even really here anymore. It's just the world has changed so much, but those foods actually did used to be really, really healing for us. So you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, obviously that's not what the way we're not going to be eating wheat and having milk right now. So it is a very, very old system that does pertain a lot to like back then. So we have to also keep it, up to speed with like the modern times. For nuts, a great way to consume your nuts is by soaking them because then they're more easily digested. And nuts are generally, too many nuts are not so great for pitta because they're also heating. So finding like the qualities of foods is also really helpful. Like if you have too much fire, you want to have more cooling food, so don't have as many nuts, but you can have like a handful in the morning. That's like how I was recommended to eat them. But yeah, I think in general, it's really great to soak them, and you just soak them like the night before and then just drain the water the next day. And you'll see, I personally think they taste better like that, and they're just so much softer on the digestion. So there are ways, even with like the salads, if you just like, if you're, for example, with kale, especially, it's really recommended to douse that in oil, like with your hands, like rub the oil in the kale to break down all of the enzymes and the cellulose, because kale is like among the most difficult to digest. Most of those leafy greens are the dark leafy greens. You want to have some oil on them. I wouldn't say to have absolutely no oil on them personally, but you have to see what you're working with also. So just to recap, Vata, air and space. So think of the qualities of air and space. Kapha, earth and water. Think of those qualities. Pitta, fire and water. And then when you're looking at the diet stuff, just see which pieces you can take from each diet that's related to your dosha and start incorporating a little bit more of that.
That's super helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments?
I mean, for me, just looking at the list of, because I was Vata and looking at the list of things that are recommended for Vata, right now I feel very drawn towards those things and sort of averse to the things that they do say to avoid. So I
Great.
guess that's a good like indication maybe that that I am Vata and hopefully incorporating some of that would be helpful.
Yes, exactly. That's great. Yeah. And listen to your body. If your body is saying, yes, this sounds good or this feels good, then go with that. That's your inner wisdom talking to you. So definitely listen to that. Yeah, that's great. Marilyn, how are you doing? And May, hi. I don't see you, but I see that you're here. I miss you guys.
What are you there for, Helene?
I am here for a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been so lovely. I love it here. I love it so much.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah. And Ayurveda is it's a complete system, right? It's a holistic healing system. So it's not just diet, it's everything. It's mind, body, spirit. And like for example, I'm dressed like this because I just came from the puja, which is the fire ceremony that we do every morning from 5:30 to 7. And we're giving offerings to the fire, chanting all these really healing mantras. You have to wear white to it. It's very purifying. And that is a part of the treatment. Like he says, this is part of your treatment that you need to join. So it's a full system. So it's a really beautiful healing system. And I think if we can just take, the best parts of it and what's really going to be helpful for us, that will already be very, very useful and helpful on your cancer healing journey. So I guess if there's no other questions, we can wrap up. Unless Vera, are you there? I guess she left. Okay, what else? What else can I share with you guys while we wait for Vera to come back? Yeah, I think like also this thing with I know it's hard again in like the modern world, but like trying to have your meals around the same time every day, it really helps also to just as a natural already going to naturally help to balance your body and your doshas. Also, actually, just yesterday he was speaking about this, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, like having your last meal. So you want dinner to be light. Typically dinner it's best to have that light so that you're not going to bed with a, heavy stomach. And having your last meal 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed is ideal. 4 hours is best, but that's can be a lot. So 3 hours would be great if you can do that. So if you go to bed like at 10, you can have your dinner by 7. Between 6 and 7 would be a good time to have dinner, and having it light, have dinner be your lighter meal. And something else I was going to say about that. Yeah, and an interesting thing that I learned also is that I didn't know this. It takes 12 hours for us to digest our meal, for like one meal. The whole process of digestion, like for it to be completely digested, takes 12 hours. So think about that. I was like, wow, because before I would like kind of be grazing all day, like snack and nibble on things. And I was like, damn, like I didn't give my body a break to digest. So really that is the whole premise of Ayurveda. It's about the digestion and healing that. And how can you do that? So of course the diet is going to help, right? So you want to be eating foods that you're going to be able to digest, and also how you're eating. So not just what you're eating, but how you are eating your meals. So breakfast can be quite substantial, like starting the day with a good substantial breakfast. And then, lunch also can be a pretty good portioned meal. And then by dinner time, you just want to keep it light, keep it simple: stews, soups, steamed veggies. Dinner, I would say, would be the best time to have your cooked foods if you wanted to do raw. And I've heard also raw foodists, because I went to some like raw food retreats many, many years ago. And I know some raw foodists that they would stay raw until like 4 or 5 p.m., something like that. Because digestion, and because this is actually also following with Ayurvedic teachings, that our digestive fire is strongest in the day. By nighttime, it starts to die down. And a way to think of that is we want to align our digestion also with the sun. So when we rise with the sun, that's when our Agni, our digestion is the strongest, right? I mean, for the most part, most of us are hungry when we wake up. We should be. If we're not, that's also something to kind of, to look at. So we want to rise with our digestion, and then when the sun starts to set, that's also when our digestion starts to set as well. So really keeping with the natural rhythms and cycles of life, of nature, of the day. So I think that also makes a lot of sense, to have your cooked meals more in the evening, because that's when our fire is more low. Once the sun starts to set, our fire also starts to dim. So just having like a nice, light soup. And even you could do, because I think you could still have warm foods at raw. It just can't be cooked past a certain temperature or something. I don't know exactly about that, but yeah, so that would be another way to do it, right? Like you could have more of like your raw foods, your salads or whatever, like in the daytime when your digestive fire is stronger, and then in the evening switch, have more the warm, cooked foods.
It helps a lot to think of like sort of the common sense and logic, you know, like following rather than just think of like all the little details. Like it almost feels like it's very natural.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Rebecca, you got it. You totally got it spot on. That's exactly what it is. This is really, that's why they call it the science of life. It's just following the natural rhythms in the nature and knowing and aligning your body with nature. That's it. You know, we rise with the sun, we go to bed when the sun sets or after the sun sets. You know, it's just so it's just when you start to understand it that way, it becomes a lot more simple. And it's, yeah, the diet is important, but it's really more about, again, like how you are eating and what time you're having these foods and yeah, just aligning yourself with the natural cycles of life and of nature, because we are nature. We came from this earth and we will return to this earth. Our bodies will be composted, literally. So we are nature. This body, this physical body, I mean, the soul is eternal, right? But this physical body that's borrowed right now, it's going to go back to earth. So thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much. For
I guess Vera's gone. Vera? Okay, well, I'm going to hop off and go get ready for breakfast here. But it
Have a
was so
great
nice to
day.
see you. Thank you. You guys have a beautiful evening. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
The
Helene.
next. Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.